Oh, hey everyone, it's Tim. How are you guys doing? I thought I wanted to do a video today and talk to you guys about how you can buy a house with zero money down. That's right, you can buy a house with zero money down. I mean, look, after all, we're probably heading into a recession. So what better way to save than save on money for the down payment of your home? So we're going to discuss some down payment assistance programs that are out there. We're going to talk about the terminology and what to look for when you're researching these programs to see if you might qualify and be eligible for one. And if you guys stay all the way until the end, I'm going to give you guys a resource that's going to give you all the programs in the entire United States that I could personally find, done all the research. I'm going to have that if you stay all the way to the end. So sit back, have some fun, and let's get into it. So, what is down payment assistance and who is eligible to receive it? So down payment assistance is, generally speaking, when a state or local government has some kind of a program that they allow to fit within the mortgage rules, if you will. And that program is going to provide the down payment for the borrower. And so that's, generally speaking, it's going to come from like a state agency or some kind of nonprofit. Now, just because they use the word down payment assistance doesn't always mean that you're going to get a free ride. It just means that they're going to give you assistance with your down payment. Now, sometimes this can be in the form of a loan, and then sometimes they even do it with a second mortgage that doesn't need to be repaid as long as you stay in the house for like 3 to 5 years, depending on the program. And they call that a silent second. And it's basically a mortgage because there's a lien on the home, but it has zero payments, zero interest, and it becomes forgivable at some point, like I said, usually 3 to 5 years. So at that point, it would be considered free money. Sometimes you might have to pay for it through your interest rate. Now, all of the different mortgage types have their own guidelines, I guess, if you will, depending on what type of loan the buyer is getting, what type of loan you're putting in place, conventional, FHA, VA, USDA. So the first place to start is with your loan officer at your local mortgage broker shop. And you might be asking, well, Tim, why a mortgage broker? Well, mortgage brokers have access to unlimited number of programs through all the banks. So they're independent of the banks, but they can find the best program terms for you. Sometimes you might want to go to a bank as well. I know Bank of America was the first program that came out with 5% down. And they were widely successful with this program to the point where they even came out with a zero down program. Again, that program was widely successful. So there's also a possibility that banks are going to have a program that brokers don't. So check both places, but start with your local lender. Okay, so now we know the basics of what down payment assistance is, right? It's just some kind of a grant or second mortgage lien that they record on the property where they're assisting you with the down payment so that you don't have to come up with any money as a down payment. So let's talk about some terminology that you're going to want to use, because sometimes it's easier just to do a little bit of research prior to going out shopping for the home. Okay, and that's what I mean by get with your lender to find out exactly what you can afford before you go look at the price of the home. You might find something for $600,000 and then find out later that, hey, I can't afford something for $600,000 according to the mortgage guidelines, right? So here are some terms that you're going to want to learn to use. All right, number one, silent second. It's a second lien mortgage which has zero interest, zero payments, and is usually forgivable at a certain point of time, like 3 or 5 years into moving in. This is a big form of down payment assistance, so make sure that you're writing this one down. Okay, number two, I want you to understand title and escrow. This is where most real estate transactions close. The escrow company works as a third-party, non-interested entity, and what they do is they collect all of the funds for the real estate transaction and then make sure they get dispersed to all of the parties in the transaction whenever the transaction is closed, and then the title company provides a title report. So the reason I bring this up is you may hear sometimes when you're asking, hey, where do I get the down payment assistance? the down payment assistance programs a lot of times just work directly with the escrow company, and the escrow company orders it right through their website, or depending on the program that you're on. All right, so that's number 2, escrow and title. All right, number 3, HUD-approved housing counseling. Now, this is almost always required by almost any type of mortgage that you get when there's little to no money down. Okay, so make sure that you're ready for that. Number 4, first-time home buyer. Now look, this is going to confuse a lot of people. I thought when I learned what this was, I thought for sure I knew that what it meant was the buyer is buying the house for the very first time, but that's not the definition defined by HUD. Okay, now that we know that, this is weird, but here's the definition defined by HUD. First-time home buyer is someone that has not held property title for the previous 3 years. Okay, so if you see a program out there and you haven't held title in the past 3 years and it says it's requiring a first-time home buyer, if you haven't owned property in the previous 3 years, then you are a first-time home buyer. All right. Number 5, we got to understand what is this thing called median income. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the description below to Fannie Mae's website, where you can literally just type in your own address, and it's going to tell you the census tract of your exact home, whether it's at 100% of median income, 80%, or 50%, because that's what the programs follow. You can type it right into Fannie Mae's little map program, and it'll tell you for the property that you're buying what your income limits are, okay? All right, now some people are going to tell you that these programs are bad. In fact, I don't know that that's always the case. I've been doing real estate a long time, and I'm not really your real estate agent or lender, unless I am your lender, then I can give you advice, but I'm not here to give financial advice. I'm just here to help you guys understand the ins and outs of down payment assistance and how to buy something with no money down. All right, so let me just tell you a quick story about a borrower that I did a loan for. And we're going to call her Stacy for this example. And Stacy came to me and she wasn't able to save up money for a down payment on her home. I mean, she's a school teacher. They don't make a ton of money. Down payment on homes can be 15, 20 grand. So she came to me and asked me for a down payment assistance program. Well, when I told her, yeah, we had one, but it's going to be $1,200 a month. Well, she's paying $1,000 a month, so we're putting her a little bit out of her budget comfort, but she really did want to be a homeowner, so she went ahead and moved forward with it. Fast forward a few years into the pandemic, she's met a man. She made a family with that man. They're moving in, or they're living in that house as a family unit now. They have kids and everything. And she calls me whenever we're in the middle of the pandemic and says, "Man, Tim, I am so glad that you got me my house. I'm hearing that rents in my area are going for like $3,000 a month." And that's true. Rents are going for around $3,000 a month for her size and for her style of home in the area. So not only has she got a really good affordable monthly payment that's fixed for the rest of her life, but she also has over $280,000 worth of equity right now. Now look, a lot of people come up to me and say, "Tim, you know, the housing market's going to crash. Tim, the housing market's going to crash." I'm waiting. I've been waiting for a crash since 2009. Okay, when 2009, what happened was we had a lot of houses on the market that were owned by banks. There were foreclosures everywhere, short sales as far as you could see. So that was a great time to buy a house, but everybody was saying, no, they're going to go down more. They're going to go down more. Tim, don't buy a home. It's still crashing. So fast forward to 2012. Here, everybody's saying the same thing. Hey, there's shadow inventory coming. But yet the people who bought in 2009 were actually buying at the bottom. 2013, still close to the bottom. People were really starting to pick up on buying homes. So you can see that buying a home can be a big advantage as long as you stick in there long enough. Remember, it's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you guys found this information helpful, consider giving the video some like assistance, which is free, and it really doesn't need to be repaid. or hit that subscribe button to get future videos like this. All right, that's all for now, folks. We'll see you in the next one.